Hey everybody, how's it going? So this is a bit of a discount budget vacation for me. I visited my friend Jessa. We got some stuff to talk about for the new organization, but I also just kind of wanted to see what her shop looks like. She moved out of using this corner of her house to a really beautiful, amazing store, and I wanted to come out and see it. We used to teach together back in 2015, and she's also a good personal friend. And she has a data recovery and an iPhone, iPad repair business, and she has this kind of small, not super fancy house over here, but it has, in this area, it's really secluded. It has a little back deck over here that's right on a lake, and it is absolutely beautiful. So check this out. Look at this. This is gorgeous. This is the complete and utter opposite of where I live right now. Like, you just go out here and it's very peaceful, serene feeling. So I wanted to discuss a little bit of what right to repair means to me here, since this topic is getting more and more popular, more and more people on YouTube, more newspapers, and people are discussing it, and kind of tie it into a video that I did recently and a lot of the comments on it. So I just put this down over here. I'm going to put my little stand for my camera down and give you all a nice, serene, happy view. So I remember about 13 years ago now, 13 years ago, needing to get something fixed, and I wound up doing it myself. And someone I knew said, you should call up some of these places and see what they charge. And I said, no, I know, it's right in their website. And he goes, no, actually call them and you'll see, or show up and you'll see that they give you a different answer. And what I found really interesting is, what I love about this business is the low barrier to entry and the feeling of productivity. So, the part that I needed was about $58 to $90. The places I called all wanted $300 to $500 to fix it. Some wanted $8. And it was a simple job. It wasn't, a really complex thing. And in the last video that I did, where I showed you that there was a small restaurant place that said, can't find anybody to work, sorry, we're closed, which is something that's happening a lot more often now, there was a bit of arguing in the comments between two subsections of people with two separate, I imagine, political, social, and economic ideologies. On one side, you had a lot of people who were saying, well, you should just pay more. You shouldn't be in business if you can't pay more. If the government is giving you over $2,000 a month to not work, and you have to be able to compete with that, and you can't compete with that, then that means that your business sucks and you shouldn't exist, and blah, blah. And the other side is saying, you're all a bunch of lazy communists that don't want to work. Why don't you start a business and figure it out? And, it's interesting to read the back and forth here. And, again, there's that whole case of ideologies having people rather than people having ideas. And when it comes to a restaurant, your average person who's poor is not going to be able to start their own restaurant. So obviously it's one of those things, I say, why don't you just start your own business and do it yourself? If you're broke, you want to start a restauant in New York City, that's going to cost like over $50,000. You obviously can't do that. And you get the point that people are making there, which is that if once you're done paying all those fees, paying to set up everything, getting the loans in order to set up your kitchen and build the place out and pay the insane rents here and pay for all the insurance and pay for all the fines you're going to get for all the, all that other stuff. There's not going to be, $30 to $50 an hour left over for the people that are doing the work. And fine, point, set, match. But what I love about this business, I love about the repair business, is that you don't actually really have to have much money to put that into reality. The idea that I am going to show you, if I think I can do a better job, then you don't need to have $50,000 in capital or $150K like you would to start a restaurant in an area like New York City. If you have a $58 part, a $10 set of screwdrivers, and the ability to post an ad on Craigslist or Backpage, shows how old I am, Kijiji, because some of these aren't even around anymore, or just go over to your local pizzeria, your local mall, and start handing out business cards, go to the stores that you frequent and ask if you can hang a pull tab sign outside, you can get started. The low barrier to entry in the repair business is something that really does allow you to say, if you see that somebody else isn't paying people well or is charging what you believe too much, do something easy. Unlike those comments in the comments where it's like, then just start your own restaurant if you can do better. Again, maybe you can do better, but you don't have $50,000 or $150,000 lying around. With this, you actually can indeed try and then do better. If they're offering that repair service and you think it's really easy and the parts are cheap, then you can buy that $58 part. You can buy the $10 set of screwdrivers, and you can tell the person, listen, I know that I don't have the trustworthiness of an established business, so how about this? I will come to you and do the repair on the spot. Or you can come to me, you can watch me do this in my front yard or my backyard or my apartment or whatever, and you can not allow the device to leave your site. You can watch everything that I do, and it'll be done. And then when you're done doing that work, this is the way I used to do it. I used to meet people in Herald Square Park back in the day when I was broke and didn't have an office. And then you say at the end of it, once you show it to them, before you take payment, and you say, what do you think of this? Does everything look good? Is it up to your standards? They go, wow, this is great. And you say, okay, that's going to be $160. Now, what do the other place want to charge you? $800. Here's the thing. Nobody knows who I am. And because nobody knows who I am, they are going to get to keep charging $800, taking a week longer to do the work. Whereas if more people knew this, then maybe there's somebody out there that would actually pay $800 because they didn't know any better. I have one humble favor for you. Since we charged you 15% what everybody else charged, can you let as many people as possible know that this exists? Like, yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much. And they shake your hand and they write a review everywhere. And then you're able to go from being broke in a park, having a business. What I love about this business more than anything else is that when you hear people that tend to be more on the conservative side of the spectrum say, if you think you can do better, then go out there in the market and do it, is that you can. And you don't need to get a large business loan. You don't need to have $50,000 to $150,000 lying around. You don't need to have a fancy schmancy degree. You don't have to have a master's or PhD. And that is one of the things that makes repair beautiful to me, is that it takes that saying that many people have. If you think you can do better, then go out there and do it. And you don't have to have an incredible amount of resources available. You don't have to have rich parents. You don't have to have a giant inheritance. You don't have to have a large business loan to make it happen. You can do you in this business, even with the work that I do on my YouTube channel. Even though I have a 600 or 700 board repair videos here. I got some fancy equipment. But you could also use, I'm not saying I'd want to, but you could use, crappy magnifying glass with a little tripod stand for it on your desk. You could use a TS100 soldering iron that you buy on eBay, $50, $80 used, and you could buy a couple of tips for it. I'm not saying that's my preference, but you could. There's a dude that 3D prints the little rubberized grip so it kind of feels like the HAKKO you could put around it. You could use an old laptop charger with it. Not saying I'd want to use a $140 IOE soldering station for very long, but you could if you couldn't afford to, move up to an Atten or a Quick for an extra $100 to $200. Under $1,000, you can get a pretty nice setup where you buy the chips you need, stuff that it's not going to be the perfect setup, but it's going to be a nice setup. That, $500 to $1,000 to be able to do the more advanced repairs in this industry. Okay, you save a month's rent. You got to sleep on your friend's couch for a month or two. And maybe clean up stuff around his place so that you can earn your keep. But it's not that $50,000, $150,000, $1 million barrier to entry like you have with so many other fields. And I love that about this field. I really do. And I love meeting people that manage to go from having a really garbage job to doing this and making considerably good money for themselves. And the best part of it all is that it's not one of those rags to riches stories via, some sort of multi-level marketing scheme or something like that. It's not like you're going from not having money to having money because you were at some crappy health insurance company, some scammy insurance company that is selling a subpar service at a low price and then screwing people because of the fine print. Like, I remember going to work for this insurance company 13 years ago. It was horrible. For those of you who don't know, I used to be certified to sell health insurance. I got licensed and everything. I could sell health insurance in New York. Probably not now. I never renewed it, never went back. I quit the job after 45 minutes of what they were asking me to do. But they had this entire sales pitch that they walked you through where they explains that here are all the things that probably led you here. Here's why you're willing to sit here and listen to all these training hearings and why, here's all the things you probably did in your life that were wrong. And because of that, we are going to reshape you in our image. It was such a cult-like experience. And then you are going to be salesmen for this company, and you're going to be proud salesmen for this company, and you are going to sell people this stuff. The way he explained it is, if you may feel ashamed selling this. If there was a $100 bill and you were just walking up to someone and giving it to them, and they said, "No, I don't want that," would you feel ashamed? No, you wouldn't feel ashamed at all because you're giving them $100. That's what it's like every day that you sell our garbage, shitty-ass insurance. It was such a scam. And what I love about this business is it's not like you're going from working as a stock person at Walmart for $11 an hour to making a living by selling people shit or by scamming them. You're getting there by taking something that would have gone into a landfill, that would have been tossed in a river or an ocean, that would have, gone to some scrap pile in Africa where it gets set on fire in the name of e-waste recycling. You'd be surprised how many places do that. And you are making it work again so that it can go back into the world. You're taking you're taking a resource that otherwise would have been tossed out into the garbage, and you are making it useful again for somebody who most likely is somebody who could not have afforded to purchase a new one. So not only are you helping someone else save money, not only are you helping someone else lower their stress level, not only are you making money, but you're making money by taking something that would have otherwise been in the garbage and making it work again. Even if you weren't making money at it, I'm not saying you shouldn't make money at it, but even if you weren't making money doing what you were doing, you could still have a kick in your step. You could still have a little bit of pride that this was going to be tossed in the garbage. This, that human resources went into, Earth's resources went into, engineering resources went into. Someone put time and effort to build this shit, and now it's dead, but now it works again because of me. Because I was able to figure out what was wrong with it. Because with my two hands and my brain, I was able to figure out what was going on, and I solved the puzzle, and solving the puzzle turned this into something that can do something again, can move again, can drive again, can make computations or encode video again. That's cool, even if you're not making money. And when you add to it the opportunity to make a living wage without having to graduate high school, that's pretty effing cool. And that's one of the things that really makes me passionate about Right to Repair. That's one of the things that makes me excited when I was doing those 500 or 600 board repair videos instead of focusing on other stuff at my business or having a life. It's that I really enjoy watching other people follow that path to success. And I really like seeing the look on their face when they realize that same kind of feeling that I realize, which is, wait a second, I don't have to work at Modell Sporting Goods anymore. I could take this name tag off. I don't have to make $6 an hour to put prices on basketballs anymore. I could do something else. And, someone will say, well, if you think you could run a sporting goods store better, why don't you open your own sporting goods store? Okay, again, point taken. But at the same time, starting a sporting goods store, probably going to be a few $100,000. You probably don't have that when you're 16 or 17. But you know what you can have as a teenager? A few $100 to start a repair business like this one. It's not that difficult. You want to repair rocket ships? Maybe we're talking about something else. But for a lot of the consumer electronics, a lot of the stuff that we go over on this channel, it's not that. You're not looking at spending that much money. And that's beautiful. Now, one of the points that I see brought up by people is that this is all about greed. And this video will confirm that Right to Repair is not a movement that cares about the environment or people. That it's about the money. It's all about the money. It's always been about the money. And that's why you must vote this down. And one of the things that I find interesting here is how people really always seem to accuse you of stuff that they're doing. So you're able to make $200 or $300 by taking something that's dead. Whoa, that's a giant wasp. Holy shit. Yeah. I'm a city guy. That scares the piss out of me. I wish I could have showed you that. Oh my God, this thing is huge. Let's see if I can get that on camera. Scary. Look at that thing. Oh my God, that thing could probably eat Oreo. Jesus Christ. Look at him. Anyway, we're going to stay away from that thing. Oh. So, one of the things that's really nice is when people kind of accuse you of what they themselves are doing. Very common thing to happen. So, we would like Right to Repair so that we can take something that is dead and return it to someone for a few $100s and scalp off a few $100 for ourselves for the service that we provided. You don't want Right to Repair because you want that device to remain in a landfill when a $5 chip has died on it. And the only option that you want the customer to have for that to work again is to spend $1,500 with you. Now, if this was not about if this were something where the manufacturer had no financial interest in what we're discussing, maybe they'd be doing that repair for free. I'm not saying they should. People should get paid for their work. But why do we have to respond to that when someone says, well, this is about the money? Wouldn't you make more money if this gets passed? Okay, let's flip it around. Why is the manufacturer going out of their way to tell a chip manufacturer, don't sell this $5 chip to anybody if they ask? Why? What is their financial interest? Our financial interest is charge a few $100s to make something work again for a customer. Their financial interest is we get $1,500 if the customer gets it fixed with us, or $2,000 if they give up and decide to buy a new one. That's a financial interest that's about 4 to 10 times higher than our own. And further, I think it's important to remember the advice I had in an older video, which is just don't accept the premise of assholes. Don't accept the premise of assholes. So you are saying that other people care about money, that they care about money. You seem really concerned when people try to make money. So show me how many audits you've done of your company's own internal repair practices to figure out how often they're economically viable. Now, of course, you don't have that because you never have done that because you don't care if they're economically viable. Because if they're not, oh, well, they'll just get another one. So that's what makes me passionate about this as a job. And that's something that I don't really think is something that we should shy away from when people ask, like, do you make money if this passes? Absolutely. Benefits me. Of course. And I've had people say, this benefits you. That's evil that you're advocating for something that benefits you. You're biased. I mean, people that advocate for legislation that would decrease pollution where they live, I mean, you know, it benefits other people. It benefits their neighbors if they get to drink clean water. But it also benefits you, does it not? Does it not? The things that would benefit myself also just so happen to benefit others as well. If the only option is $1,500 or buy a new one, and we are able to offer $100 or $200 or $300 or $400 or $500 or $75 to get it fixed, a customer benefits because they've paid less money. A repair person benefits because they now have a job other than working for Walmart or Bezos or gas station. Customer benefits because they save money. And the environment benefits because that item, now that costs 1/4 to 1/10 as much to fix, is less likely to end up getting tossed into this lake. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. It's a really cool looking vacation spot. This was my discount cheapskate vacation, and it looks really nice. This place is absolutely beautiful. Just gorgeous. I mean, compared to where I stay, like, this is just, you know, I don't have a side of a house, back of a house, front of a house. It's just brick, 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 falling apart, brick, like, you know, falling apart 100-year-old brick shit houses and concrete. This is really cool. I think I'd lose my mind if I stayed up here for too long. I would like to have some sort of mix, you know, if I were to move someplace. Something in between a city and the middle of absolute nowhere like this, where you have like one grocery store for the entire town. And you're on a lake. But I gotta say, this looks cool. This looks cool. Well, you know, you could have a boat. I could teach Oreo the cat how to swim. Put him on the diving board over there. He'd be able to, you know, hunt for fishies in the lake. You'd go for a swim every now and then. When I was walking up the block, without me saying hi, other people looked at me, smiled at me, and said hi to me. Doesn't happen in Brooklyn. Every now and then. You know, with like one of my, I have two neighbors that I've known for a really long period of time. We always say, what's up, fist bump. People are nice. There are actually people here that don't lock the door to their car, their truck, or their home. I was astounded when I heard about this, but then the people next to them said, yeah, I don't do it either. They just don't lock their doors because there's nobody there that would ever try to enter them. It's a different way of life. It's really, really cool. And I think there's some place like this where you're maybe a 20 or 30 or 40-minute drive away from a city life. Not like a New York City life. I mean, you know, a city life that's not a city that's not a shithole. But something like this would be really cool for the future. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I don't know how Oreo would react to learning how to swim, but I'd take him out on a boat ride. Wouldn't want him to be left alone. They have coyotes. Coyotes. Yeah, they have coyotes out here. and foxes, so Oreo would probably have to remain an indoor cat, fortunately. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to end my rambling now. I will talk to you all later, and that's about that.